Hi, my name is Jessie Harris, and I am from Robertsonville, North Carolina, but I live in Greenville now with my husband, Michael, and I'm a high-risk OB sonographer for ECU. I grew up going to church every Sunday, and I went to a Christian school my entire life, so I had a head knowledge of who God was, and I wanted to be a believer because good people were Christians, and I wanted everyone to think that I was a good person. So I would go to church when I could. I would try to wear the right things, say the right things, and just kind of put on this mask of the life of a believer. But I didn't have a heart that wanted to please or serve God. So I said the sinner's prayer when I was 8 years old and was baptized at that point. So I lived the rest of my childhood and teenage years thinking that I was a believer based on that prayer. I did all of these things, all of these works to try to convince everybody else that I was a believer and look that part. And also, in the back of my mind, I thought that if I could do these things, I'd be worthy enough for God to save me. I didn't realize that it was based on His grace alone. But I started coming to integrity about 2.5 years ago. And once I started meeting with people here and getting involved in the community, it was pretty obvious that my life didn't line up with everybody else's here who was a believer. The characteristics that defined their lives weren't the same characteristics that defined mine. Somewhere in the summer of 2018 is when I believed that God saved me. And I say that because looking back prior to that, I was only concerned with what other people would think. I didn't want people to see the sin in my life. I didn't have real deep relations or conversations with people because I didn't want them to think that I was a bad person. In that season is when God showed me that it's okay to be real and open about being a sinner, and that I was just able to cling to the grace that God gave me during that season. So I thought my salvation was works-based, and it was really then when I realized that there's nothing that I can do that would make me worthy of salvation. It was only through His grace and mercy, through sending His Son to take my place on the cross, that I have this incredible gift, and I'm so excited about that. And I'm just excited to be here getting baptized as a true believer today, and I'm excited to publicly proclaim the work that God has done in my life and give Him all the glory for that.